The Pittsburgh Steelers have gone into this offseason with negative cap, but if they make some of these moves, they could free up over $20 million. So let's get into it. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I was going to make this video a week back on Monday, and guess what happened on Monday? They released 3 players and freed up nearly $20 million in cap space by releasing Mitchell Trubisky and also releasing Chuks Okorafor. So there are more players under contract that are really not impactful to the Steelers team, and they could get released, and they would free up a lot of cap space to allow the Steelers to do more things in free agency and go out and sign other players. So let's just talk about it. These are the few players that I heard could be on the verge of getting cut by the Steelers to save some money. So we already know the quarterback Mitchell Trubisky was released by the team on Monday, and they saved around $4 to $5 million because of that cap hit, and that's money they could spend elsewhere. So another player that was released was Chuks Okorafor, and he freed up around $10 million in cap space for the team as a backup offensive tackle. Yes, the Steelers could have gone and maybe traded him for a late round pick. Who knows if another team would have traded it, but they just decided to cut him and save around $10 million that they could spend elsewhere. They cut Presley Harvin, didn't save that much because he was on a rookie contract. But those are the 3 main guys that they cut already. Also, looking at other players that could free up some cap space if they decide to cut them is Allan Robinson. Allan Robinson's name has come up a lot in potential cap casualties. And that's because if the Steelers decide to release him and cut him, they would be saving around $10 million. And that's a lot of money. They traded for him this offseason from the Los Angeles Rams and expected him to come in and be a solid 3rd wide receiver for the team. That's kind of what he did. He wasn't too great. He was a big name receiver when he was with Jaguars, and he was also with Chicago, but then he went to the Rams. He did it good for a couple seasons, but wasn't really the superstar that he was with the other teams. The Steelers traded for him to be that slot receiver for the team, but he did not put up production. His contract is huge, so if they cut him, they 100% should and would save a lot of money because of it. Saving $10 million for a 3rd wide receiver that barely gets any targets, catches, yardage, or helps the team in any way other than blocking would be a huge save for the Steelers. So I believe he's a cap casualty that's waiting to happen. They may be waiting past June 1st or before June 1st. That's usually when the cuts come and go. So that's a guy the Pittsburgh Steelers could cut in the upcoming days. Another person who I believe they could cut, and a name that's been going around, is Mason Cole, our center. Yes, the Steelers, ever since Kendrick Green, it makes you kind of worried when any other player plays center because of how bad Kendrick Green was for the Steelers. But Mason Cole was able to come in and be a solid center for the team. He wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible. He was kind of below average. So Mason Cole came in, but he has not been up to expectations as a good, great center. He came in, he used to play with Minnesota, and he did his job. But his job sometimes he did not do as well, and he was kind of inconsistent. The one thing you need to be good at the center role is snapping the ball. That's the main thing you do. But it seems like he was always snapping it to the ground or to the feet of the quarterback, and that could just not happen. He could not stay on balance a lot of times either, showing kind of some of Kendrick Green's tendencies. But overall, a big upgrade over Kendrick Green. But if the Steelers decide to release him, they would free up $4.75 million in cap space. And I think that's what the Steelers have to do and turn to someone else at the center position, whether that's signing someone in free agency, like another veteran, like they try to do with Mason Cole, signing a veteran to fill the spot, or if they decide to go in the draft and draft someone high in this year's draft, whether that's the 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round, or whatever. that's one way the Steelers could fill that role. But cutting Mason Cole, it seems like that has to happen. Also, I heard some rumors that Mason Cole, the Steelers might want to keep him at the center position as a backup, but that would only happen, I believe, if they move around his contract or if they get a rookie on a rookie contract. But they could restructure his contract to Mason Cole to allow him to be a backup, but who knows if he would want to do that. That all depends really on the player and what they decide. But if he doesn't want to do that, more than likely he will get cut. So that's another player the Pittsburgh Steelers could cut. Also, another player who it might be a shocking person who could get cut is Patrick Peterson, cornerback for the Steelers. They signed him last offseason, but he did not really pan out greatly for the team. Once again, a solid guy. He came in being a solid player for the Steelers. Didn't really do a good job at the beginning half of the season, but towards the later half, did a really good job in shutting some people down and moving to safety when injuries happened. But he will be earning a big contract this season. And if they cut him, they will save $6.8 million towards the cap. So I believe this is a player that could be cut from the team to save around $7 million. And they could use that $7 million elsewhere towards another cornerback, like the one that they're trying to trade for from the Bears, Johnson. So Patrick Peterson actually spoke on this topic, saying that he kind of knows his contract is huge and that he's willing to restructure it. So if he is willing to restructure his contract, he could potentially stay with the team. On his podcast, that's what they're talking about, and he said he would be open to it. So if they are open to it, he could be staying, but if not, obviously that means that it's in the back of his mind that he could be cut from the team if he's already brought up his contract situation. So Patrick Peterson, he could be cut and save around $7 million. Also, another person who could free up some cap space is Larry Ogunjobi. Larry Ogunjobi has a big contract, and I personally would not cut him. This is just my thoughts. I would not cut him because he's really impacted the team a big way ever since he came over from the Bengals. He impacted the defensive line in a big way, whether that's a pass rush or run stopping. Yes, his stats aren't huge, but he's able to produce pressure and he's able to stop the run at a high level. Yes, he's been getting injured with that ankle injury, his foot injury, but I believe he should stay on the team. But anyway, it's not up to me. But Larry Ogunjobi has been listed as a name that could potentially get cut or the contract has to be restructured. So Larry Ogunjobi, they could free up around like $7 to $10 million if they cut him. But if they restructure his contract, they could also save a lot of money as well. So either way, I believe Larry Ogunjobi's contract isn't have to be dealt with in some sort of way. But with that being said, those are kind of the main guys who could get cut from the team and save a lot of money. There's other guys who could get cut, like DeMonte KZ, who if they release him, they could save $3 million. So there's probably other cuts that are going to come, like Deontay Johnson. If Deontay Johnson gets traded, they could save $10 million. So there's just other things the Steelers could do to save money, and we all know the Steelers are not done. Omar Khan is a genius when it comes to this money stuff because before being a GM, that's kind of what he did for the Steelers, working around the money cap wise. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below about these potential cut candidates. Is there anyone here that you believe is a guarantee to get cut in the coming days, coming weeks? Or do you believe that these guys are going to stick around with the team? Do you want them to stick around? Do you not want them to stick around? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Me personally, every single person I listed in this video about a potential cut candidate, I would be fine with the Steelers moving on from. The only person who I believe should stick around if they could do something about his contract is Larry Ogunjobi. But even if they move off of him, it just opens the door for a more playing time for Keanu Neal. But I still believe Larry Ogunjobi could help this team in a big way. And he's been doing so ever since he got here. So that's the one person, even alongside DeMonte KZ, that I would want to see stick around for the future playing for the Steelers. But other than that, the other guys like Allan Robinson, Mason Cole, Patrick Peterson, and others, I believe that they could go and get more better people with the money that they would be able to save from them. And it would open the door for Calvin Austin more playing time, drafting a cornerback, the Corey Trice that they drafted last offseason to play cornerback with Patrick Peterson gone, a new center to come in who could be better and could actually snap the ball. So I believe that other guys could go and they could bring in some new guys to fill in their roles. But those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. Well, if you like Steelers content, analysis, and reports, click that bell down below so you never miss out and you can get notified whenever I post the next video like this, rumors, analysis, reports, everything like that. There's going to be some breaking news in a couple of weeks in the draft, free agency, over the next months. So subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss out on it. Also, I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.